Booyah! This is Robin from the Back Pain Secret podcast. And today we're going to talk about slow down time to heal your back pain. Slow down time to heal your back pain. I'm going to play the intro song. I'm going to be right back, guys.
So here's the important question. How can back pain sufferers like us, who don't want to use prescription drugs or go through surgery, heal our back pain? How do we live our daily lives in a way that allows us to go to work, take care of our families, enjoy life, and still manage our back pain? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answer. My name is Robin Wakeham, and welcome to Back Pain Secrets.
Okay, guys, I'm back, and as you can see, I'm screwing up the words a bit. It's been a while, okay? I had a few weeks off. Actually, I hadn't really had a few weeks off. I've been very, very busy building these 3 different physiotherapy clinics. So I've been working my ass off during the summer, actually. I had a few days in the countryside, but it's been a lot of work. This episode today is kind of stuff that has helped me. So I'm doing this episode for myself, because over the past few weeks here, I've actually simplified my life quite a bit, and I eliminated a lot of the stuff that I was doing, just focusing on a few key things, okay? So this episode could be about me, and if it can help you, I'm really, really happy. Send to a friend, or follow the advice yourself, this stuff works. As always, guys, I have a patient story. It's a made-up name, of course, to protect the innocent. Today we're talking about Mark, okay? And Mark was a guy that I met a few years back. He came in, he had a herniated disc a few years back, in constant pain, more or less. He had 3 kids. He had back pain for the last 3 or 4 years, on and off, and it was just horrible, but he was always working. He had the 3 kids, he had the wife, he had this very, very high tension job. I think it was in marketing or something like that. I can't really remember, but he was always working. He told me, it more or less felt like since he was 19 years old, when he got his first job, he'd been working more or less 6 days a week constantly, but externally, he was always working, always, and always also multitasking, not just doing one thing at a time. He was like doing 4 or 5 things, juggling, okay? And he was starting to ask himself, was it all worth it? Was it all worth it? He was just tired, feeling that he didn't have time for his family. He was just constantly tired. He was also tired of his back pain because it was on his mind all the time, and it was irritating his way to think. He had affected his mood, and of course, he couldn't really exercise that much because he was always working. And internally, he felt more or less like he was on the wrong path. He was doing all of these things, but it didn't really fulfill him. He was doing all these stuff for people, but he wasn't really being fulfilled himself. And he was always tired of having pain, since he 4 or 5 years back, the pain was always there. He had pains in his buttocks, down his leg, okay? He also was telling me, he was just, Mark said, I'm so tired of always feeling tired. I'm never rested, okay? And he was just seeing he had this tunnel. He was longing for this tunnel of light, to go through. And I know you guys, I told you guys that I'm talking about myself here now, but when you're doing a lot of work and you're doing putting in the hours, 60, 70, 80 hours a week over a long period of time, like a half year to a year, you go up and down. Okay. So I'm not there, but I'm feeling it, and I want to be sure that I have the enthusiasm and the will that I gave Mark these tips, and I wrote these down and I give these to my patients, but I'm human as well, so I screw up sometimes. And this holiday has really made me refocused. Okay, back to our story, guys. So then Mark hit kind of a wall. He had this big deadline at work, and he was drinking 10, 15 cups of coffee a day. He had 4 or 5 hours of sleep. He was sitting at his desk and in meetings and in the car, and for like 8 to 10 hours he was on his butt all the time, and he was constantly popping these painkillers, strong stuff that irritates your stomach. You get like stomach burn, you get constipated, and you're like, you can't think clear. You feel like almost like you're half drunk all the time. You're like numb to everything, And he started to get this pain over his chest. That's what was the reason why he came into, because he had the back pain, but he came in for the back pain. But after a few visits, he called me acute and told me he had a pressing thing over his left chest, and he had problems, hard time breathing and everything. It's horrible. So I told him, you need to go to the ER and get like check your heart out and make sure that you're okay there, because that's not something I do. So he went in, he had like everything checked out, everything was okay, but the pain in his back was still there, and he still just felt like shit. He was telling me that he felt like everything in life was just spinning by so very, very quickly. He felt like the last decade, he knew that he'd been gone through the entire decade, but he didn't really feel fulfilled. He felt like, also, like, if you just thought back like the last couple of days, he remembered what he was doing, but he was there, but he wasn't really there, because his mind was somewhere else all the time. Okay. So me and Mark, we had a chat about this, and as always, like I tell you guys on these clips that I do, that most of the patients that visit me, they've had pain for quite a while, and they've gone through this regular stuff with like the standing up, the walking, the training programs, the core stability training, posture control and stuff like that. A lot of times there's like psychological stuff you need to address as well. Sometimes the patient will listen to it, or sometimes just get pissed off and storm out. But I make work very clear to all my patients. I'm not here to be your best friend. I'm going to tell it like I see, because I want results for you. Okay. So if my approach doesn't work, there's plenty of other people out there that you can approach, but I'm going to tell it like it is, because I want to see some results. So I was telling him, Mark, you need to start paying attention to less amount of things, because more or less you're exhausted, because your brain is constantly stressed and your body's constantly stressed. I mean, if you're trying to juggle one or two things, you're okay. But right now you're trying to juggle like 50 or 60 or 70 or 80 or 100 things, okay? And you get in trouble because of that, big time. You also need to stop to drink that much coffee. I'm not saying that go cold turkey and cut off all the coffee, but you definitely need to cut down on the coffee. If you're working that amount of time and you're that stressed and you have all that adrenaline in your body, and you pour like 10, 15 cups of coffee a day into, you need to stop that. You need to mix it up with some tea or something like that. Drink more water, go for your walks, stand up a bit, but definitely stop drinking that much coffee. And you also need to stop missing the moments, because you're always on to the next thing. So what I mean with this is, when you're doing something, when you're actually doing something, please stay in the moment there. Okay. Don't be like all over the place and do something else. If you're, for example, if your kids come home from school, greet them at the door. Okay. Give them a hug and a kiss, ask them how they are, and really be there just for a moment, with them. Also, you need to stop to say yes to too many people's requests. You're saying yes to everything that's not really relevant to you, just to be nice, to be liked. Okay, you need to get over that. Because the reason is that you're always overbooked. Then, okay, you don't really have time for the stuff that you need to put your time and energy into. Okay. So it was hard. He asked, how do I slow down time? Well, I said, you can't really slow down time in that matter, but you can focus, start to experience feeling like you're slowing down time in focusing on lesser things. Okay. Less amount of things. You definitely need to do that. And that goes with the other stuff I was telling you, to not say yes to too many things. Okay. Also, like, learn to be more aware of the present moments. I was talking about that before, and then also life slows down. And what do I mean with that? There are certain things in your life that you are present in. For myself, I was playing hockey growing up, and I injured my back quite a bit. And before that injury, I actually, everything slowed down. My senses, my hearing, my eyes, my sight, and everything slowed down. I was really in the moment. Also, like the first time I kissed a girl, for example, that's also a time when all my senses was there. I was really there in that moment. Could it also be, I remember my daughter had some graduation at school. I was looking at her going up on stage there, and that's also, I had all my senses were very, very attentive. I saw her, I listened to her, and I really was there. And when you experience those kinds of moments, that's actually stuff when you feel alive and when you feel like you're experiencing life. So to sum it all up, I told them to do three things, okay, to start to focus on these three things. And the first thing was think about the breathing, okay? The breathing. Breathe, for Christ's sakes, Marks. I was telling him, breathe in and breathe out, okay? Take some deep breaths, okay? Because the breathing is more or less the center of everything you have. You need to take a few deep breaths during the day, and also look around. Look around and listen to what's going on around in the world. Just looking at stuff and really taking it in and looking at it will make you feel inside like you're experiencing life more, okay? And this stuff is hard, guys, okay? This is not something that just happens overnight. You have to work on it every day, okay? And number two, I told you, you need to minimize the stuff that you focus on, okay? So for me, I gave myself as an example. For me, it's important to work out every day, okay? Because that keeps my body and mind in shape. Spend time with my family, okay? And I also want to publish every day, okay? So that's like the three things I never miss. That's like three core things for me. Before I came to that conclusion, I was trying to do all of these different things, and nothing was really working for me, because I was always trying to please everyone else. So I was telling Mark to do that, and also to focus on your feelings more, okay? And he said, "What do you mean with that?" And I know that's hard, but for example, when you feel very, very overwhelmed and you feel like things are just too much stuff are going on, you have a tendency to zone out, okay? You're not really there in the moment, and you feel like you're there, but you're not there. So I told him, please try to stay in the moment. Even if you feel a bit overwhelmed and stuff is going on, please try to stay there and be there in the moment and really feel what you're going through, okay? Okay, guys, I know this is deep stuff, okay? And it's not easy. I'm working with this stuff myself, and I have quite a few patients that come in that also get tips regarding this, So if you think that this episode could help someone, please, send it to a friend. If you have any questions, put them in here. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on YouTube, So please get in touch. My number one priority is to help you guys out there with back pain, okay? So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. And guys, don't forget, you're just one step away from healing your back pain. Bye-bye.
Want more back pain secrets? Then go ahead and get your free copy of my best-selling book, Back Pain Secrets, at backpainsecrets.com. Inside this book, you will find my top secrets to healing your back pain without prescription drugs or surgery that have helped thousands of other people just like you.